The critic. While most are content with trivial matters like film, food, or literature, one man dares to review all facets of life's rich tapestry at your behest. In the face of life's greater challenges, there is one critic you can turn to.
I'm Myles Barlow. Welcome to Review.
Coming up in the program, gimme gimme when too much is never enough. And later, I get delusions of grandeur. But first...
This letter comes from Gavin Suffolk from Boggabri. Dear Myles, I want to see the world, but I'm stuck here working the farm with Dad. I'm thinking of chucking it in and taking off. Dad'd be pissed off, but it's my life, right? What do you reckon, Gav? Wanderlust. Is the grass really greener on the other side of the world?
As I set out on my journey, I have a sense of anticipation of the personal enrichment that awaits me. And what better place to start my voyage than the birthplace of Western civilization, Athens.
Hey, stop!
But in the snatching of a satchel, my Aussie road trip became a Greek tragedy. The theft was a financial blow, yet it couldn't deter my wanderlust. I decided to keep exploring, albeit on a now more meagre budget.
Whereabouts from? US.
Oh, whereabouts?
Sharing with backpackers had its compromises.
Do you mind?
But at least I still had the ancient wonders of Mykonos to look forward to.
The real mythological significance of this place is that it was the location for the famous battle between Zeus and Titan.
Do you want a pill?
No.
No?
Greece hadn't been quite the cultural hotspot I'd hoped for, but there was still a whole continent to explore. In Paris, I joined a bus tour where I met Scott.
Fucked her. Yeah, rooted her. Fucked her in Prague. No. Ooh, twins. Myles. Hey.
Hello.
Just met two French girls.
Oh.
Hey. Might be the jersey. Hey, where are you going? Oi, where are you going?
Well, Egyptian antiquities first. There's over 50,000 pieces in that exhibition
What, are you
alone.
insane? Well, that shit will be there in 50 years' time. It's not going anywhere. What do you think they're going to look like in 50 years' time? Now, you want to go and line up with the tourists? Or do you want to experience the real Europe?
Perhaps Scott was right.
It's up to you.
After all, I had seen all that shit in the Louvre before. Maybe it was time to live in the moment
Scott.
and wander down a different cultural path.
Australian bar! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! You all right? Oh. Get it all out?
With Scott as my guide, thus began our bus tour of the real Europe. From ladies and lager in Amsterdam to Donna e la Birra in Italy.
Make sure you get its face.
I did.
Chicas and cerveza in Spain. Steins und Fräuleins in Germany. Pilsner and party girls in Prague. And from the Arc de Triomphe to the Brandenburg Gate, we missed it all.
Wonderful. It's closed. Like everything else.
Ah, well.
I'm sick of missing these things.
We haven't missed a thing.
Yes, we have. We slipped through all of Belgium.
Fuck Belgium. Look, we'll get up early tomorrow. We'll go see the Stargate then.
The Reichstag.
Yeah, we'll get up early and we'll do that. Oh, let's go get a beer.
And you see on the left, that is the glass dome that was built on top of the Reichstag, following the Great.
By the time we reached Krakow, Scott's odyssey of hangovers had begun to wear thin.
800 евро. Каждый.
He wants money for the girls last night.
800 евро.
You bill Vorsen Trussell.
800 евро. Jiggy, jiggy.
No. It seemed the old Russian jiggy-jiggy scam had derailed our adventure. Like so many broke, half-naked Australians before us, we retreated to the sanctuary of Earl's Court to doss with mates and save a few quid to get back on the road.
Guys, this is Scott and Myles. They're going to crash in for a bit.
Suppose I'm here then.
Hey, bro, get off.
Oh, sorry.
Desperate to fund my next adventure, I tried to save money by working several disgusting, poorly paid jobs. From pulling beers in an Australian theme bar, to the only slightly worse clean-up boy in a kinky London sex club.
Room 5's just finished up. You'll need your gloves.
To feed my wanderlust, I had to take any opportunity.
Left my coat. What's your name?
Myles.
Well, Myles, what's your price?
I just clean the rooms, that's all.
Everyone has their price. How does £1,000 sound?
This windfall offered me a somewhat painful passage to India.
Good morning, sir.
But the wonders of the subcontinent were a rich reward.
Hello, my friend.
How are you, sir?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm also fine, sir.
Pleased to
I'm a
meet you.
tourist guide.
You're a tourist guide?
Yeah.
With my guide Suresh, I was finally relishing the genuine cultural experience my wanderlust had sent me in search of.
Oh, thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, sir. Take a good view of this boating area. All the ships are waiting for the harbor.
That's got a bit of a kick to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's special handmade.
Very strong.
For you.
Like a knight in a medieval reenactment society, I set out on my crusade with the noblest of intentions. However, it didn't take long before I dismounted the steed of enlightenment to take the wheel behind the monster truck of instant gratification. After a wrong turn down Inebriation Boulevard, I quickly became lost on Ignoramus Avenue, on a roundabout of cultural insensitivity. Thankfully, the GPS of rational thought kicked in, but by then, this rite of passage left me with an exorbitant mechanical bill, a vacant sense of self, and only one kidney. So, Gav, I'd stop your daydreaming and get back to work. 1 star. The pill. While helpful in avoiding unwanted pregnancies, is a repressive, hormone-altering medication that's annoyingly easy to forget. 1 star. Early this week, I spoke to Maggie Dunbar. Maggie still breastfeeds her daughter, who is now 2. She's tried to wean her, but her daughter gets so upset that Maggie can't bring herself to go through with it. She feels like she'd be deserting her as a mother, but doesn't know what else to do. Addiction. Left unchecked, just where will it end?
May I help you?
Yes, does Tony live here?
Who wants to know?
Myles. I did some work for him a little while ago.
Tony!
I've decided to open my portfolio with an addiction to illicit drugs, which meant reconnecting with an old acquaintance.
Well, looky here, eh? Myles Barlow.
Oh, you remember me, yes.
Sure do. The puffiest bloody drug mule I've ever had.
Well, I suppose.
drug dealer and actor Anthony Hayes.
Oh, see, what, you were after some work or something like that? Well, no. I'm here for personal use, actually.
So I've kind of started up this independent production company now, so basically all this is kind of funding independent films, which means I don't have to go to fucking Screen Australia anymore. Hey, you know what I should do? I've got, hey, Dan, pass me that script we're working on. It's a horror/thriller, and it's basically about these kind of these backpackers that go out into the Australian desert, and then this kind of Crocodile Dundee type bloke kind of gets hold of them and then takes them out, and they kind of run around. There's like slitting their fucking spines and all that kind of shit.
So a lot like Wolf Creek.
It's hardly like Wolf Creek. How is it like Wolf Creek?
But illegal drugs are just one source of addiction. In order to be thorough, I needed to cultivate others. Cigarettes and alcohol. Gambling. Chocolate. Computer games. Nicotine patches. The internet, in particular eBay and pornography, which led to prostitutes and sex addiction. In an effort to balance out my new life as a drug-addicted, chain-smoking, alcoholic gambler, I became a gym junkie as well.
I was always drunk by lunchtime. Did my shopping in the
Being awake for days at a time on drugs meant I was also able to turn my hand to more constructive addictions. House renovating, for example.
Miles, why are you painting that wall?
Because it's a feature wall.
Look, I need to get into the
You can't go to the bathroom, the tiles are still drying.
But keeping up with my ravenous cravings was taking a severe financial and mental toll. I became edgy and irrational.
Miles, what the hell?
Don't touch that from me, babe.
You gotta get your act together.
You got any money?
Are you using drugs?
You should talk, you're on Valium all the time.
That's prescribed by my doctor. Look at this place.
Don't go. I've got $12.50.
This is not gonna look good, Miles.
Look, if I've got things to do, so can you please just go?
Miles,
I said get out! I've got more money upstairs. Just another 20 minutes. Whatever you can do. Come on! Oh, start running!
My voracious compulsions were bleeding me dry. But desperate and cashless, I still needed my fix.
Hey, get out of here! I've told you before, get out! Come on, get out! Get out!
I'd sunk so low, I was now literally on the terps.
Hello?
Mr. Barlow, it's Miss Clark here from the school. Your children are still waiting to be picked up.
Oh, yes. I'm on my way right now. Thank you.
What a fool I'd been. I'd completely forgotten about my kids. They'd have money.
What's the PIN number?
Mummy said not to tell.
That's strange as Harry, and I'm your father, so it's okay to tell me. What is it?
4121.
Is that a new watch?
Yeah.
Like Tony's plagiarism, my loss of control was obvious to all but me.
You want to have that here? Take it away or what?
Well, I shouldn't leave the kids sitting in the hot car like that. Then again, I don't want to do drugs in front of my kids, do I?
That's not funny, mate.
No, quite right. I've had a trouble. I'm a little bit drunk, so... Thank you.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, sorry, darlings. Daddy seems to have nodded off.
Ava.
What is
Can we
this?
come here?
Is this intervention?
Miles, everyone in this room wants to make sure that you're okay.
I'll get a prior engagement, excuse me.
Miles, you're not going anywhere, Miles.
We just have to get you
Not
well,
going
Miles. Out, everybody out, out. Everyone out.
Open up!
Cold turkey.
I haven't eaten by oxygenating in 2 hours. Please.
The next couple of weeks were truly harrowing. Until finally, it seemed, the nightmare was over.
Hey, Miles. You're looking great. You really are.
Thanks to you.
Like that. All right. Oh, it's Charles. Charles, how are you, mate? Oh, give me another 40 minutes. I'm just going through some papers.
But like a domesticated lion who's been given a taste of blood, I was overwhelmed by my afflictions once more.
At the dance looks to be gone. Daddy's girl moving up on the inside, nipping at the heels, Daddy's girl, but Golden Lad won't relinquish the lead just yet. Daddy's girl, Golden Lad, Daddy's girl on the inside, now Golden Lad, and it's Daddy's girl! Number 6, Daddy's girl, wins it from Golden Lad. Bullseye number 3, and that's the dance, apple cider.
Being an addict is like walking into a $2 shop which is having a 50% off closing down sale on magical candy. Unable to resist the ridiculous prices, you begin filling bottomless shopping trolleys of indulgence with all you can see. Of course, when it comes to closing time, you don't want to leave, as the shopkeeper of sobriety wrenches you from the aisles of gluttony, urging you to seek refuge on the wagon of recovery. The problem is, with so many addictions, hitching a ride on all of these wagons at once is literally impossible. Sadly, this is precisely where Maggie's daughter is headed, since, be it breast milk or morphine, once an addict, always an addict you will be. 2 stars.
Help! 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 Oh, no, not... St. Bernard rescue dogs. Whilst a welcome sight in the Swiss Alps, these well-meaning hospice hounds and their inferior brandy are more of an annoyance in these arid climates. 1 star. I need medical assistance, not brandy. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Can you please go and get an ambulance or something?
And now it's time for our letter of the week. This week's letter comes from Jeremy Ledwidge from Kilmore, who writes, "Dear Myles, I've moved to a new area, but I'm having trouble making friends. Back home, I was a member of a role-playing club, mostly D&D, but other stuff too. Anyway, I'm thinking about starting up a club here, but it'll take a lot of work and I'm wondering if it's really worth it. Thanks, Jeremy." Starting your own cult. As Jeremy asks, is it really worth the effort?
To be different, I decided to inject something of myself into my cult ideology.
Because only with the 5 stars of enlightenment, in perfect alignment, can the righteous pass into the sun. 5-star salvation. Excuse me, 5-star salvation?
No, thank you. We are not interested.
The hoi polloi were far too rational for my outlandish views. I needed to focus on the more vulnerable, suggestible members of society. Ex-addicts were far more receptive, as were the unemployed.
Excuse me, sir, 5-star salvation?
Ex-criminals. You, the elderly.
Into my fault. Oh, I didn't get the part, eh?
And the actor's cattle call was a treasure trove of broken spirits.
Let's get real here. Where are you going with this acting caper?
Well, I was an underbelly. 2 and 3.
Dita, everyone was an underbelly.
True.
I believe that each and every one of you are special. And together we can strive for a 5-star existence. I have a real treat for you today. Please welcome actor and celebrity, Dita Brummer.
With a celebrity to boot and a new place to call home, far from the judgmental eyes of normal society, my cult was finally off the ground.
You see those 5 stars up there in Constellation? Isn't that the Southern Cross? Yeah. Well, yes, that's what man calls it. But to us Barlowians, that's heaven.
I couldn't deny that being a cult leader provided me with an enormous sense of importance. I was not only the center of attention, but to my disciples, I was the very center of their universe. And while I was somewhat surprised at their gullibility, it was a role I found myself happy to facilitate. There were the financial benefits too. With my disciples signing over their life savings, I'd amassed a tidy little nest egg. Law enforcement would occasionally check up on us.
I'm sensing your accusations and I'm giving them 1 star. If you're interested in turning your life around...
Listen, just stay away from his property, okay?
But by and large, we were left to our own devices.
In 32 days, the apocalypse will engulf this planet.
I was amazed at just how besotted some of my disciples became with me. Julia.
Miles, I feel so blessed to have found you.
Yes, well, you're not alone. Julia, what are you doing?
I feel so much closer to you.
Yes, well, it was God who consummated with you, remember, not Miles. So you'd best get back to your husband now, I think, Julia.
Miles.
Dita.
I have something to show you.
Oh, okay, certainly. What is all this?
Oh, the guns. A few mini Uzis, a Tommy gun, and a few Berettas for general purpose.
Where did you get all this?
I keep in contact with the armourer from Underbelly.
Why?
Well, you said we needed to protect ourselves, no matter what.
Did I?
Yeah, pretty sure you did at campfire last week.
All right, well, that's quite enough protection for now. All right, so good work.
Dita's stockpiling of weapons was a concern. But once word of Julia's lying with the Chosen One had spread, others wanted similar salvation, often several times a day.
Hello. Terry, shouldn't you be at the workshop? You're very close to 5 stars now, Marie. Must be excited. Hello, Terry.
Marie's out in the fields.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm actually here to see Laura. It's time to achieve enlightenment.
Well, why can't I achieve enlightenment instead?
Because it's not God's calling at this time, Terry.
Right, so my wife's been chosen 13 times this month, now my daughter, but not me.
Yes.
But this is my daughter.
Just in time. This bodes well for you, Terry.
I'd become so drunk with power, I'd even lost sight of the apocalyptic deadline I'd been promising all this time.
Sorry I'm late. The apocalypse has been delayed. I'm afraid it's...
When will it be?
Well, soonish, God said. You know, next month, probably. Would you like to discuss it? Go back to my room and...
Go. I mean, you've taken my money, you've taken my wife, and for what? I mean, you consummate with every woman in the place.
That's not true, Terry. Is it, Margaret?
Is it my time now?
No, it's not.
You're full of it. This place is a joke. Should be called the Church of Bullshit.
Well, that's a silly name.
You're a fucking snake, mate.
Well, that's it. You are exiled from the church.
You're a fraud.
Marie and Laura, you can stay, obviously. But you can leave, please. Now.
He said leave.
Dita, what is that?
It's an MP5. I can get more if you want.
No. Dismissed. Everyone?
Myles, wake up.
This is the police. Come out with your hands in the air, please.
Terry's betrayed us. He's brought the police. The apocalypse is upon us.
It's not the apocalypse. Just settle down. You see my pants? Just stay here. Yes? Terry, what?
Approach slowly with your hands in the air.
We're a peaceful community.
Approach
We mean
slowly
no
with your
harm.
hands in the air, that's fine.
It's okay, Miles. The battalion's mobilised.
Battalion! You're gonna get us killed! Fall back to the bunker! Bunker! You've got a bunker!
What had I done? These people were so taken in by my prophecies, they'd lost all touch with reality. As had I. It really was the apocalypse.
It wasn't meant to be like this! What is that, bazooka?
It's an RPG. Fire in the hole!
We have to talk about these weapons! I am not happy!
I'll protect you!
Put the gun down! Throw your weapons!
God, mate! Run! Save yourselves!
Leading a cult was like mountaineering without oxygen. An exhilarating head rush of insanity as Sherpas of common sense abandon you to your fate. But while ascending the summit of self-proclaimed omnipotence, I became distracted by the glacier of promiscuity, scrambling across it with reckless abandon, stranding my helpless flock of disciples in the middle of Judgment Mountain. I've since been released on bail, but I've been forced to bear my own alpine pack of pending charges, with a court date yet to be set. 2 stars. Coming up next week, exit signs, leeches, and inferior busking.
Don't you know any other songs? You play this one every morning.
All that and more next time on Review.